Hello there, this is Daniele from Toolchefs and welcome to this new video. Today we're going to have a look at the sync module and two of its possible use cases. The first use case is the typical horse rider setup and the second one is a prop workflow. So for the first example, we're going to use the Atoms agents and we're going to use the dog because we don't ship an horse with the Atoms agents, but at least you'll be able to follow this tutorial. So I've already loaded the Atoms agents in this scene. So if I open the AtomsMaya, I'll find the clips and the agent types. Then here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a new agent type, which I'm gonna call it Mixamo, because I've downloaded a character with a sitting clip from Mixamo. So if I go here, that's the character. I'm gonna use the same path for the skin. Gonna register. Now if I draw skin, that's the character that I've downloaded. Then here, what I want to do is I want to sanitize the joint names and I want to set the pelvises, I want to set the hips, just for the sake of accuracy here for this setup. Okay, so then I'm gonna create a new animation clip. I'm gonna call it riding, something like that, actually ride, it's okay. Then here, this is the pose. I'm gonna set the direction type to static, because the agent is facing the Z axis, so I'm setting here the Z axis. I'm gonna also sanitize the joint names and set Mixamo as the compatible agent type. Here, let's also, yeah, we already have the looping enabled, so if this is, yeah, the pose is similar, so this should work. But this is all we have to do here for this animation clip. So now we can go in the scene. I'm gonna create a grid layout for my Labrador, so for the dog. Let's go here and set Labrador. Let me set the display type to skin, and let me create a plane, just so that we can see them maybe walking on a plane. And let me create a night field with this plane, and I'm going to here set the state machine for the dog, give the state 1, which is the work state, and then on the state machine I'm gonna assign the eye field that I just created so that the dog now is working on the plane. For the grid layout, we can maybe create a 4x4 grid. One thing that we'll see is that we have to make the dog a bit bigger. So we can go here on the create agent group. We can create a new agent group. We can create maybe a grid layout, and we can see just quickly the Mixamo character, how big it is compared to the dog. Skin. It's quite big. So here in the, I'm gonna go back in the Atoms UI because I can set like the scale multiplier for the agent type. Here I'm gonna maybe set 4 like this. So now if I rewind, yeah, the dogs are quite big. I think actually this will be big enough for us. So here maybe I can make the spacing a bit bigger so that the dogs are not intersecting. Okay, so if I press play now, the dogs will be walking on the plane, but of course the character is there, you know, on the plane. So here we can first of all assign a clip. So this one is going to be right like this. And then we have to use the sync module to make sure that of course the agent is on the dogs, right? So so to do that, the first thing that you have to do is to first let's create a sync module. We have to select the parent agent group. So for the child agent group, which is going to be the rider, you have to select the parent agent group, which is going to be the horse group. So in this case will be the dog one. Here you can select an agent type, so it's going to be Mixamo. So if now I press play, the agents are there, but they're not actually following, because here we have to provide the joint names. So the joint is going to be the joint of the rider. So here the joint, we want to select the root joint of the Mixamo character, which is hip. So we can select that and do right click and then copy joint name. We can type it there. And then for the parent joint, we have to find in the in the dog, we have to find the root. So we can select the root, right click, copy joint name, and we're gonna set it there. Now we see all messed up here, but we're gonna fix it in a second. One thing before I keep going, here we have selected the root, but this is because we don't have a joint. Usually the best practice would be to have like a joint up here, which is not the root, and maybe doesn't have all the motion of the root. So we have in the tutorial that we have here in the on the documentation, you'll see what we mean with that. It's just basically the location where the rider should be when the rider is connected to the is attached to that joint. Also, of course, this motion doesn't have to have the motion exactly of the root or any other joint. It can have its separate motion, so you could have like better results as well. But for this case, so let's go back here. We see that the agents are first of all huge, and then they're all messed up the rotation. So because of course now we are using we're transferring the motion from the root of the dog to the root of the Mixamo characters, and this is you know, it's possible that the axes are not perfectly aligned, so that's why we see the characters that are all upside down. So first of all, what we can do here is we can make sure that we don't pass the scale from the parent agent group to the child agent group. So we can, if we remove here scale, we should see the agents are going back to their normal size. And then we can play a bit with the rotation here, so that maybe the character is actually, you know, not upside down, but you know, it looks at least like it's sitting on the dog. So here we can play with the rotation offset. So maybe you can do 90, maybe 180. Yeah, 180 is good. Maybe here 90, no, minus 90. Yeah, so at least now it's facing the right direction. We want just to make sure that is a bit higher up. So if you start playing with the translation offset, we say maybe 50, we see that instead of going up, it's going down, and this is because it's using the local axis. So if you do use word space translation offset, this is going to be in word space. Here we can maybe say not 50, maybe 10. Let's see, not 10 is too little, maybe 20. 20 sort of okay, but maybe we could do 30. Yeah, 30 is a bit better, but yeah. So now we have characters, so agents on all the dogs. If you press play, we see that the you know, the riders are actually following the horses. As you see here, as I was mentioning, we have the whole motion is transferred from the root of the dog to the hips of the Mixamo character, and that's why we see that the riders are a bit wobbly, let's say. So if you have like that separate joint on your skeleton, then you're gonna have probably better results. One other thing is that you might want maybe to randomize the agent type, or maybe, you know, like select just some horses and have agents on top of those horses. So here we have assigned a global agent type for all the agents that are riding the dogs. If we remove that, what we can do is like we can select, or even if you have like, you know, multiple agent groups multiple agent types that you want to use as riders, you can select you know, the horses or whatever, in this case the dogs, where you want to have your riders. Then you can select the previous the agent group for the riders, and then going under the Atoms menu, and then tools, agent randomizer, select the agent type that you want to randomize. So of course here you can have more than one. Click run, and now if we go back to the attribute editor and specifically on the sync behavior module, we see that here we have overrides for all those agents. So here we see that we have those overrides are just for some of the some IDs, which are the ones, these IDs, they match the IDs of the dogs here, so that's why we see you know, the agents just there. Again, you could, you know, select more and then do another run of the agent randomizer like this. Or if you want, you can even you know, change them by hand here in the override dialog. So one other thing, you don't really need to have the grid layout here, but it's important that you have the state machine or clip reader before the sync, and this is because it's how we build the internal network of each agent. So the sync module has to be after the clip reader. If you have it before, you see that sorry, this one, you see that the agents are not actually going to follow the horses. So always make sure that the clip reader is on top here, or the state machine, whatever you're going to use. If you use, of course, the state machine, all the metadata that are here in the sync metadata list, they're going to be transferred. So even the state is going to be transferred from the horse to the rider. So if you have like a state machine that matches, for instance, you have the state for running or for jogging or for simply walking, you can have parallel state machines, and whenever you change the state for the parent, so for the parent agent group here, then you also transfer the same state to the child. Another thing that you can do, which is very neat with the sync module, if we go back here just a second and we remove the overrides and we set back again the mixamo here. If we come here and we say for the grid layout, change the layout, for instance, I want it to be 3 by 3, we see that here the also the riders are being layouted properly, and they are actually, you know, on the horses or dogs again. And so basically with this workflow, it's way easier. You can just take care of the parent agent group, and then all the changes will dynamically be transferred over the child agent group. Okay, so now let's have a look at the other example. Okay, for the second example, we're also going to use the Atoms agents. Here we're going to use the man and the flag. As you can see, I've already loaded them in my scene. So let me create first an agent group with a grid layout and a state machine. One thing to mention about the props, so about this workflow, is that this workflow that we're gonna see now is what people have been using for a long time in Atoms. Now, since Atom 6, there's a separate workflow that you could use for props, which is the new variation overrides, where basically you can assign props at runtime with overrides. You can still use this workflow that we're gonna see now because it's also quite flexible, but again, you can also use that one. The other workflow with the variation overrides makes the simulation a bit faster because you don't have to create separate agent groups for the props. But yeah, again, it's a quite valid workflow if you want to use this one, which is also quite flexible. So I'm going to set the skin type for the display. Then let me here set a grid which is a bit with a bit few more agents. Let me also increase the spacing again. And here in the Atoms UI, we need to assign the stadium state machine for the man instead of the loco one. Man stadium state machine. It's recomputing the clips. Now it's done. Okay, so if we press play, now it's playing the state 0 of the man stadium state machine. What we want to do is really we want to play this other state, which is the swing flag. We are going to maybe use few states in this scene, so maybe we could do here on the state machine we could actually assign a list. So we could say I want to use 0 and then 2 and then 18. So we have quite a few agents still swinging. So 1, 2, 3, 4 agents. Actually 5. Anyway, the number doesn't really matter. But yeah, we have some agents playing the state 18. Cool. So now what we have to do is we have to create a new agent group. We have to create a sync module. In this case, we don't need the clip reader because of course we don't have any clip. Then we can here say we want to use the flag. We have to assign the parent agent group, and then we have to assign the joint. So when we exported the flag for these in the Atoms agents, we use the same. The joint has the same name of the man prop. That is basically where we're gonna attach the flag. So that's why you see right hand prop there. So we can use the same name for both the joint and the parent, but of course this really always varies depending on your setup. So now press rewind. The flag is there. So sorry, we need to change this to skin because the skeleton is just a single joint. Now we see that we have the flags, but we see also that all the agents are not really playing the swing animation. They have the flag attached. So to fix this, we're going to use the, first of all, let me remove this here so we don't have any more flag. We can use the agent layout tool with the search mode. So we can use selected agent groups only. So that guy, the agent group for the with the man. Then we can say I want to filter. I want to search by metadata, which the metadata is going to be the state, and then I want just the value 18. So here you can provide a range, but of course if you provide the minimum and maximum value for the range, it's going to be using just that value. 18, as you remember, is the number of the swing flag state, as you can see there. So if now I click select agents, now we have selected all the agents that are playing the swing state. So I can go back to the attribute editor, select the other agent group, and then do tools, agent randomizer, no sorry, flag, click run. So now I have just the flags for the for the agents that are swinging the flag. So this makes a bit more sense. You can have multiple sync. Well, actually, you need to have like one sync module for each agent group where you want to add like a prop. So you have if you want to add like sword and shields and so on, that's the way you would do it. Same things for like hats and so on. And this is all for this video. Thanks for watching.